All right, so 2024 is here, and it's good to see all of you. Thanks for joining. We have 9 people, which is above our expected. We had said we only need about 7 to start, but now we have 9, which is good news. So I'd like to begin by welcoming everybody to this Level Up 2024 session. I know it may be a little awkward because some of you may not know each other, some of you may know each other. So I was thinking to do an icebreaker. Each person can tell us their name, just name, and also or the city that they are joining us from. So I will begin because my name is James and I'm joining in from Vancouver, BC, Port Coquitlam to be precise. So let's hear others. Where are you guys joining us from? Because this is across Canada, so I know that we have people from different places and locations. I see Mons is on. Hey Mons, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Where are you joining us from?
I am from Nanaimo, way out on an island.
Nanaimo, the island. That's awesome. Okay, let's hear
hmm
others. Where are you guys joining us from? We have Amon. Are you from the States or where are you from?
Me,
Yeah,
I'm from the capital city,
the capital city. What's that? Is that Ottawa, right?
New Jerusalem. No, I'm from Ottawa, the capital city of Canada. And
Jerusalem
my
is
name
the
is Amen.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Okay, let's hear the rest. And of course, if you can come on video, that would be awesome to see you all. And video is more powerful than audio, right? Mons and Jocelyn already knows. Peace is also from
Yeah.
Ottawa. Yeah, let's go, let's go.
Can you hear me? Because I'm using my audio upgrade, so you have better audio for me.
We can hear you actually. I, I
Yeah. So,
I'm wondering,
okay, nice.
is the audio coming from the mic?
Yeah. So this is so you have a better experience from me.
Nice, love it.
Yeah.
Okay,
My name is Jocelyn John, and I live in Vancouver, BC.
nice,
I'm not far away
nice.
from Nanaimo, but yeah.
Great stuff, great stuff. Well, without any further ado, I know that your time is precious, so I'll just launch right into it. Obviously, if you have you're in the group and maybe there are other people that you have invited, please do invite them because this is going to be one of those sessions that we go deep into the topic. So let's do this. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen without any struggles. Let's put it at a better percentage here. Oh, I need to hide myself. There we go. Hide yourself. All right, that's better. So Level Up 2024. Now, this is something that I'm doing personally because I love helping other creators and entrepreneurs, but also it's in connection with this organization. It's called Tomorrow's Leaders Starting Out. So they really have been fundamental to make sure that the resources you're getting for free and you don't have to pay for anything except pay attention, which is more expensive than money. But we can talk about that some other time. And the tagline, as you can see, is live up to the level God has created you for. And I say that because I'm very big on the idea that we are created in the, oh, that's too big. Not that big. Okay, here we go. So we are created in the image of God. I believe that 1000%. And this is very important because in the image, or as they say in Greek, imago Dei. So the image of God is so huge because sometimes it's so easy to see yourself as insignificant or as maybe your contribution to this world doesn't matter. But when you understand that your identity is rooted in God, that you have a bigger purpose here that is beyond you, it actually helps to be the foundation of any successful creation. So I believe we're made in the image of God. I believe that we were created to create. That's a tagline I love. We're created to create. And here's what's interesting. I should probably make one of you guys an admin so you can let other people in because
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
You'll be
get
busy.
so absorbed into this.
Yeah.
So let's do that here. Make you co-host and also make you co-host. There we go. So I believe that we're created to create, but also I believe that we cannot be satisfied until we create. So you can never have real joy if you don't create, because your purpose was to create. Creation, guys, I see creation as an act of love. Creation is an act of love. And really, the reason why I say that is because at the heart of creation, if you do it the right way, the heart of creation is always service. Because you are not just creating for the sake of creating, you are serving somebody, you are helping someone. And so that's really big. So I'm just sharing my beliefs so that you guys know where I'm coming from. I am big on this idea. It's not really an idea, it's more of a reality and a truth that I live by. And so, having said that, we can now move on to today's topic. Level Up Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, and we're looking at the essential single secret every entrepreneur and creative must know. So this is something that you as a creative, you as an entrepreneur, you as someone who wants to create must know. What is the secret? Some of you are wondering, what is the secret? So here's something. I want to begin by prefacing this whole session with this. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. There's a verse in the Bible that says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." That's how knowledge is. What this means is what you don't know is costing you too much. And you may just be one, if that even makes sense, one knowledge away or / one idea away from your solution or from fulfilling the dream that you've always wanted to. The difference is just knowing. And if you think about it, guys, fundamentally, think of a rock, right? Let's say this is a rock, right? And this is you. I think I'm not doing bad at drawing. The main difference between these two is obviously one is alive and the other is not really alive, but the rock does not know anything. It cannot even know, right? But you can know, and that's what makes you the ability to know what's around you, the ability to interact with it. Because if you don't know, you are just as the rock, because the rock doesn't know. And so like knowledge is what, it's the framework through which we operate. And knowledge is more important sometimes even than money. The power of ideas is so powerful. If you think about it, look at everything you have in your room or wherever you're watching this from. Maybe it's in a cafe or somewhere. Whatever you have around you was once an idea. So the computer you're using, the phone you're using was once an idea. The clothes you're wearing were once an idea. In fact, even you yourself was once an idea. So that's how powerful this knowledge realm or idea realm is. And so I'm saying this to say that you're not wasting your time here, because the knowledge that you have here is the difference between you actually succeeding in 2024 or you being stuck and not knowing what to do. So I have some exciting bonuses for you guys because you are amazing and I love helping creators. My mission really is to help creators and really coach them and guide them, whatever help they need, to lead them to a place where they can create like God, where they can create with clarity. That's my number one thing. Clarity, competence, and confidence. Because we are created to create, right? So to do that, I authored a book. It's called How to Create Like God. And I'll be offering this book for free. Aren't you guys excited?
That's exciting.
It's for free.
What format are you offering it? I have it as an audio book. Is it? Are you gonna offer the PDF?
So everything is free until Jan 31st. Everything. So if you want the
Oh,
audiobook,
it's gonna be audio.
if you want
Audio.
audio, it's there. If you want paperback, it's there, and also the ebook. So every format is available for free.
Okay, cool.
But here's the catch.
Do we just like message you or?
Don't worry, Mons. Here's the catch.
Oh, here's the catch.
Are you ready for the catch?
Yes.
All right. Number one, you have to have you need to sign up, obviously, and be part of this network. That's number one. And then number two, guys, we need to reach more people. We need to reach more people because one of the secrets I'll be sharing with you is that we need more people. I just spoiled the secret right away. We need more people. But number one, sign up. Number two, you need to bring at least 10 people. Why don't you look excited as you were before, guys? Be excited. Be happy. Don't you want to help people? Don't you guys want to
Young
help
people.
people?
They have to be young. You said.
They have to be young at heart. Those who love young people. So invite 10 people to join the network, the WhatsApp group. And once you do that, you can have access to these for free. Any of these, you pick whatever you want. If you want the paperback, we're going to mail it to your location. If you want the ebook, we'll send you the digital version, the audiobook, just the same. But number one, sign up, bring 10 people and make sure those 10 people actually do sign up. Now, this is not some marketing scheme. I'm only doing this to expand the opportunity and help more people. Because really, at the end of the day, this is not for me. This is for them. Because I believe that getting access to this book will actually level up their success and really align themselves with what God has called them to do and be. So, some of you may know me, some of you may not. So I might as well introduce myself before I share the secret for tonight. My name is James Niyomugawo. That's my last name. Background is Burundi. I'm working my way into being a success coach because I'm passionate about success, but at the creative level, helping creators to create with clarity, with confidence, and with competence. Because of my passion for creating, I find myself involved with so many projects and leading out in so many different fields. But at the end of the day, I consider myself to be just a speaker. I love speaking. I also love writing. So I'm an author and a speaker. Anytime you need me to speak, I will. And here's why. On Sunday, we're going to be looking at the 4 levels of value. 4 levels of value. And one of the values is communication. Now, here's the thing. Communication is so powerful. In fact, it's divine. Because when you look at the creation story, God did not think anything into existence, but he spoke things into existence because words are powerful. And that's why I love speaking, because I think communication is the only way really you can have a level of influence and impact to people, because it's the only way you can share ideas and then the ideas have an impact on the people. So that's why I love communication. But so far, does anybody have a question or a problem with me? All right, good, no problem. Oh, here we go. I'm on. Ottawa.
Yeah, I have a question. So how do you keep track of I don't know if I should call it recruitment, or like when people are bringing 10, each person is bringing 10 people, how do you keep track of that? How do you know who brought who?
They tell me, and then I confirm. If you're lying, then it won't work. But that's a great question. That's a great question. So these are some of the creators that I have worked with. Not all, but just a select few. To give you an example, some are musicians, some are geographers, some are authors, some are entrepreneurs as well. So it's been fun working with these people. And I've also worked with some companies as well. So these could be churches, different ministries, but also even actual corporate companies as well. And it's been fun working with them. Now, Elisa, yeah, I worked with you too. That's right. Of course. and it was fun working with you. I'm gonna bring your. Once we do the introductions in the group, because we don't have much time here, in the WhatsApp group, everybody's going to introduce themselves, tell us their name, where they're from, and their dream for 2024. And then we're gonna get to know each other more like that. But for now, if you have it, before we continue, I should say, make sure you have a pen and paper so that you can write the notes. All right, here we go. The essential single secret every entrepreneur and creative must know. What is that single secret that every entrepreneur must know? Like I said, I believe we're created by God, and God is, in my opinion, God is the greatest creator of all times. And the logic is, if we want to create better things and long-lasting things, then it's only logical to say that we should copy the strategy that God uses. Now, I have been fortunate enough to have found that strategy, and that's what I'll be sharing with you all tonight. So after writing the book, How to Create Like God, obviously, I wrote more about how to create like God, went into the details, but I discovered 7 fundamental principles for any successful creation. If you do these 7 things and apply them, then success is really inevitable. And it's 7 principles. I have a challenge where we go through the 7 days, going through each one of these. But for tonight, I'll just share the 2 that I think are the most important. And I find that most creatives and entrepreneurs miss in their creative endeavors. All right. So the first one is specification, curiosity, communication, distinction, delegation, and scale. Lastly is the principle of Sabbath, which is quite interesting one. Tonight, I want to dive into specification and how if you miss that, you are really missing the mark. There's no way you can be successful if you're not applying the principle of specification. Specification is found in Genesis 1:1. It says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Now, there are 2 levels to specification. The first level is domain specification, where you specify your domain. And the other one is problem specification. By domain specification, it's when you recognize your niche or the area you're operating in. And then problem is when you clearly understand the problem that you want to solve. So let's look at these 2 tonight, because that is really the main reason why we are here. Genesis 1:1 says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Most of us who took science classes, we may be familiar with the concept space, time, and matter. Does this sound familiar? This actually summarizes everything we know and we don't know really. Everything can be summarized into space, time, and matter. This is like at the foundation of our very existence. If you take away space, there's nowhere for us to be. If you take away time, there is no duration for us to exist in. And if you take away matter, then our very substance also disintegrates. So these are like the foundational principles of our existence. And so it follows that if this is the foundation of reality as we know it, then it must also really be the foundation of creation. Because what is creation at the end of the day? From our perspective, creation is, we don't really create anything new. We only repurpose what already is. So if you want to mess around with reality, which is space, time, and matter, then space, time, and matter becomes principles that we have to observe and really obey if we want to actually interact with reality in an effective way. So space, time, matter. What God does is he defines his domain. And for him, he says, I want to create heaven and earth. This is his territory. This is where he operates. All right. So as a creator, as an entrepreneur, the first thing you have to do before you even go and create anything is to understand What is my domain? What is my niche? Where am I called to be? And if you break down space, time, and matter here, let's move on to a new page. Space, come on now. There we go. Space really refers to, it's really the place, it's the people, it's the area that you want to affect. And you have to know that. You have to nail it down and say, this is what I want to focus on. So I give you an example. In my case, the space that I believe I've been called to serve is the space of creation. That's what I believe. And after analyzing my life, the things I like, the things I don't like, I find that's where I need to focus on. Creation, helping people create like God. That's my space. Time is also important. I know we all have dreams for 2024, but here's the question. Is 2024 the right time? Right? Because there is nothing. I'll give an example. I heard this from some preacher. He says that having a child is something beautiful, right? But in as much as birth is awesome, premature birth is deadly. So time is important. Time for you to actually go out there and do what you want to do. You have to know, is this the right time? Do I need to wait? Or do I need to not do it at all because time is over for me? All right. So time is important. Understanding, is this the right time? You need to have a sense of urgency as well. In other words, here's how we can put it. No, that won't work. Does this time, in this case 2024, demand or call for what I'm offering, what I have to provide? So that the time and what you're offering has to match. And then lastly, but not leastly, is matter. This is my favorite one because I can do more word plays on it. Matter is what you provide, your offering. And obviously, as the word suggests, it has to be something that actually matters. So I have a funny theory here. It's not a theory, it's actually an equation. Time times space equals matter. Now, this is like the formula for successful creation, because the only gift we have under the sun that we can say, the only thing that we really have is time. Because what is life? Life is measured in time. 20 years, 30 years, 80 years, right? So the only thing you and I have is time. And then what God does is he says, okay, I've given you the time. I want you to interact with the space that I've put you in. For Adam and Eve, it was a garden, right? He put them there. And what he wants is that time multiplied by the space he's given them. They have to create something meaningful, something that matters. So when you understand this equation, then obviously it's just a matter of substitution and putting in what you need to put in, and then you move on. Before I continue, does this make sense so far? Or does anybody have a question? All right, very good students, no question. The next part that's equally important is now specifying your problem. Now, I'm passionate about this because I think when I look around at people who create stuff, the greatest mistake we make is to assume that all we need to do is provide solutions. All I need to do is create an amazing product or create something that looks nice, create a very attractive video, let's say, for those who are into content creation. But this is not at all the purpose of creation. We do not create just for the sake of it. Yes, we are creative. Creativity is like something that needs to be tamed and needs to be directed in a sense. Otherwise, it can actually paralyze you too if you don't have discipline with creation. When God created the first time, he didn't just show up and create a bunch of things. There was a reason for creation. So like your creativity must be guarded and guided by purpose. So you need a purpose to drive or to guide your creativity. Now I have a question for us. How do you know what your purpose is? What is purpose? And I actually found a little secret that can help us. When it comes to purpose, I've realized that purpose, number one, is not about you. If whatever you're doing is about you, then it's not your purpose. If whatever you're doing is to help you do this and do that, that's not purpose. Because purpose is always about people. Always. And purpose is always about service. Purpose is always selfless, where you spend time thinking about others and helping others. And you know what's interesting? When you do this way, success is inevitable. Success is inevitable because the way God designed success, if that's a thing, because he created us and he created the possibility for success, the way he designed it was such that we can only be really, truly successful as long as we're serving someone else, as long as we're helping someone else. That's really what creation is all about. Now, back to this verse about specifying the problem. It says in Genesis 1:2, the earth was without form and void, darkness was upon the face of the deep. You have to know the problem you're solving to make sure that the product you provide actually matches the issue or the pain point that people have. There's nothing more painful than creating something that people don't even want to have, right? So why don't you spend the time, like God did, to actually understand the problem? What's the problem? The earth doesn't have form. The earth is empty and there is darkness. So then the fundamental question that every creator and entrepreneur must ask is this: what form do I want to formulate, if that's a thing? What emptiness do I want to fill? And what darkness do I want to illuminate? That's fundamentally what creation is all about. What problem do I want to solve? And there is actually different levels to problems. So there is first level problems. And there's other levels, but I want to focus on first level because it's really what I think is the gold mine when it comes to making impact and helping people. Have you noticed that the companies that are successful, most of them solve first level problem? What are first level problems? First level problems are problems that everybody has. So everybody on earth has a problem. And imagine if you can solve a problem that everybody on earth has. Are you guys seeing the connection or is it just me?
I'm seeing it.
Now, what problem does everybody on earth have? Every human has human needs. Well, everybody needs water. Everybody needs shelter. What else do people need? Clothing. These are things that they cannot exist without. So if you solve these problems, by default, you become a billionaire. It's not a matter of luck, it's a matter of understanding. What problem am I solving and at what level? So that's why we're going to attack the government right now. That's why the government is so rich. Why? Because they solve first level problems. healthcare. People will always be sick. So they know from their perspective, we might as well take over this, provide electricity and all that. These are like first level problems, right? So when you think of a problem you want to solve, it's really about how passionate you are with the problem. But if you want to really go deep into it, then find a way you can solve a problem that many people have. And if you go to university, business, they will teach you the same thing. They say, find a problem that many people have and solve it. Once you do that, money is just a result of that, because all the money you need is in someone else's pocket. And the only way they give it to you is if you help them with the problem they have. Fundamentally, it could be first level, second level problem. But you guys get the point. I wanted to add this as a bonus because I think it can change our perspectives a little. And here's another thing. If you look at the billionaires of the world, you ask them, what do you do? Almost a huge percentage will tell you that, like, the things they tell you they do are not even, they're not attractive. They're not like, they're like those first level, like cleaning water, like transportation, moving things with trucks. It's these things that look like they're not important, but actually are important, because the goal again of creation is not, it's not to make a name for yourself. Although that's not, it's not evil to be popular or to be famous. What's evil is when you try to do it by yourself. There's nothing wrong with greatness, but what's funny and fascinating is greatness cannot be achieved. Greatness is given, greatness is granted. So you look at the Tower of Babel, for example. They said, yo guys, come, let's make our name great and build this tower to reach heaven. And God was like, no, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, one chapter after that, God finds Abraham and he tells them, Abraham, I'm going to make your name great. So in both chapters, it's about greatness. But in the first chapter, greatness is something you run after. In the other chapter, greatness is something that God gives you, right? So it's important to realize that distinction. And also, I might as well throw in here that when it comes to successful creation, you don't really need a good idea. What you need is a God idea. And the reason why you need a God idea is because God is the one who created creation. And he created you in his image. The reason why he creates you in his image is so that you can tell his story. And this is where specification becomes really important. Specify the problem you want to solve. Because if you don't specify it, what happens is you are, you are almost cursed with infinity. Because there's so many things you can think of. If you don't bring it down and niche it down, you become confused. There is no form. It's like the problem with time or even space. The reason why God gives us these boundaries is because without these boundaries, we cannot actually operate. If we didn't have time, we'll be so confused. What time is it? What am I doing here? What's going on? Or if space didn't have a boundary, it goes on forever. Like a human cannot really deal with that. So you need to specify something and then focus on it. All right, I see time is moving. We're going to have a question and a Q&A at the end. So this is the bonus I threw in. But to summarize, the secret to successful creation is specification. You need to specify the domain, the niche, your calling, your place, the people that you want to affect and effect. Once you do that, specify the problem you want to solve and make sure this is a first level problem if you can. Because if it's a first level problem, when you solve it, it's something that people always have, people always need. So obviously it's something that will eventually be able to sustain you. And I'm saying this because I know for most creators, we have so much creativity, but there's a gap between our creativity and entrepreneurship aspect of it. And usually it's found in understanding these principles and how they work. So here's the bonus for you tonight. Genesis 11:6. The Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Okay, interesting verse. This is the first time God comments really in this unique way. Like when I read this verse, it scared me because these people are building the tower to reach heaven. And this is so significant that it catches the attention of God. Usually God will send angels, go check how it's going and all that. But God himself is affected by what's going on down there. He comes down and he says, the people is one, they have one language, and this they begin to do, nothing will be restrained from them. In case you guys didn't see it, here's the key word. Now, oh, that won't work. Maybe this. Now nothing will be restrained from them. That's the key word. Can somebody give me synonyms for that? Synonyms for that. Nothing will be restrained from them.
They will be unstoppable.
That's right. Unstoppable. Unstoppable. What's the other one? Invincible. What's the other one? You guys get the idea, right? But God is giving us the secret to being unstoppable, to being invincible in a sense. What's the secret? The people is one. That's one. Notice how it's about people. People, one. So there's a community that's one. They have one language. So that's unified communication. And obviously, unified imagination. So if I could write it, it's really unified communication and imagination. It's the unity aspect of it. And this is why I'm so passionate about the network. Because I believe that, yeah, we could share ideas and principles and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's about the network. Because people, although ideas are great, what I've learned is that people, okay, how do I say this? A unified people working on a poor idea is better than an isolated person with a great idea. So that unity is what you need. And actually, there's a principle that I think is very relevant to this. It's also found in the Bible. The principle says, it's not good for man to be alone. This is true in entrepreneurship. There's no way in a million years you are going to achieve your dream alone. It's not going to happen. God won't allow it to happen because it violates his principles and his purpose. His purpose is for people to work together, to love one another and to serve one another. And he wants you to work with people that you can benefit, that can also benefit you. So all you need is people. It's not good for man to be alone at all levels of analysis. In fact, let me ask a question. What was God's Mona Lisa, like his perfect creation that he's ever created, like his masterpiece? What is it? Does anybody know?
Maybe the Sabbath or something? Or...
Okay, Sabbath, that's one.
Mhm.
But what's the one thing that he created that was like the best thing he's ever created?
Man's
Okay.
creation.
So I see an answer in the chat. I see human. And actually, that's true. So we guys are God's masterpiece. or as my favorite poet says, he used to be my favorite, now he moved on, but he says, you are God's poetry. And that's so true. We are God's poetry. But do you know that for us to be the finest work of God's creation, the crowning work of God's creation, it was not a result of isolation. It was a result of unity. God did not say, let me create man in my image. God said, let us create man in our image. So that's the secret right there. That yes, you can create small projects here and there, but for you to create your perfect project, your perfect purpose project, you need to be able to say to a team, to a group, to a partner, let us create something in our image. So it's not even about you. It cannot be about you. It's about always about others. All right, now here we go into our Q&A. I'd like to thank you all for joining this session. I see more people are joining right now. Those are the people who missed out. But we're going to make sure that this is provided to you for those who missed out. But now it's your time for Q&As. If you guys have questions, just be nice. Don't ask difficult questions. Thank you very much. But the floor is yours. All right. You guys have no questions.
You taught it so well, man.
All right, see, Amon has a question.
So for me, I would like if you can go back to the formula of, I believe it was time times space equals matter. If you can go over that concept again.
Okay, sure, I can. So this formula, time times space equals matter, is built on the idea and understanding that time, space, and matter is what constitutes the very essence of our existence. Reality can be summarized into time, space, and matter. So if you want to affect reality in any way, you need to master time, space, and matter. Time is time, what God has given us to really, I see more people joining. Time is the boundary of duration. So when you think of God, right? God is outside of time, space, and matter. So God has no beginning, no end, right? But for us to really understand reality, God gave us boundary to say, what time is it right now? 7:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then he gives signs, evening and morning and all that. But time is like the only thing we have. Like time is all you got. Time is all you have. Space is where God has put you to be. This could include geographical location. So I believe everybody on the call is in Canada. If nobody's cheating, we're all from Canada. We're all from Canada. So that's our space, right? And if I want to create something, I'm in Canada, I want to affect Canadians, then I need to understand that space. I have to live in that space and really feel that place. When I say time times space, what I mean is simply this. For you to create anything that matters, so matter could be your product. Actually, matter is your product or your service. For you to create a product or a service that actually is impactful, you need to do the math here. You need time. But what do you do in that time? In that time, you specify the problem. And obviously, you specifying the problem against the space or the people who have the problem in their particular habitat, right? So what is their problem? During this time, you create by speaking. So you speak to the void, I call it. Speak to the void. For example, for God, in the beginning, the earth was without form and void. And it says, and God said, let there be light. But he did that in time. Obviously, it doesn't really affect him. But for us, we need time to actually document the solution. Then we need time to research the problem. as the Spirit of God did, it says that the Spirit of God moved over the face of the waters. So the Spirit, in a sense, did some research into the situation. Okay, what's the length and the breadth of this whole thing? And then only after that did God say, let there be light. The problem with us today is we want to create without understanding the problem. So we create solutions that don't solve the problem, and we frustrate ourselves and the people that we're called to serve. What we'd rather do is understand the problem. What is the pain point? And then from that, you need to be able to speak to the void. But how can you speak to the emptiness that you don't understand or you don't know? So that's the whole idea. But I love this equation. You need time, you need space, you need the domain. And this is like the formula for success. Does this make sense, or does it answer your question, or you have more questions?
Yeah, it's making sense.
And you have no more questions?
No.
All right, perfect. All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, in the chat. No, I'm not going to share the slides. You have to bring 10 people. Someone is asking me to share the slides. No, I'm just kidding. I will share the notes for free. But if you want to get access to the book, for those who just joined, I'm giving away my book for free because I love you all. You get the ebook version for free, or the paperback. I can send it to your address, or the audiobook. But the condition is this. This is only going until Jan 31st, but you have to make sure you sign up and then bring 10 other people to sign up. Now, when I say 10 other people, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about 10 people who are interested in creating, in creativity and or entrepreneurship, because we want to create this network where we can all level up together in 2024. Does anybody
Last
have?
question.
Sure,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, the book entails things from all the way from entrepreneurship just to the Christian walk and stuff, or?
It's okay. So it's really mainly entrepreneurship okay. So how do I answer this question? The book is written for creators to create like God. So that's the focus of the book.
Okay.
But what's interesting is that creation, in some sense, can be seen as an act of worship. So we can talk about that as well. But that's a different conversation, but for sure.
And this is all, like, everything you were speaking about today is stuff that's in the book, right?
That's a good question.
Because now it's, I don't know, man, I might just buy it because, like, this is interesting, super interesting.
I'm giving it away for free, so you don't have to buy it. But
Yeah.
the catch is a good catch.
Yeah,
You can do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's going to teach you to do some sales as well, which is something we're going to learn as we go. But
Mhm.
but what I'm sharing with you guys, maybe 70% is in the book, but 30% is not.
I see.
So you still need me.
Yeah, no, for real, as usual.
You still need me. But yeah.
Yeah.
Any more questions before we wrap up here? All right. If you have questions, we are in the WhatsApp group. Those who are not, please do join, and we can have that interaction. And obviously, I'm actually giving away a free coaching session, brand strategy session for each one of you here, starting on January 16th. So it's just one session where we go over the blueprint that I found. Actually, let me share that with you right now. Day number 2, which is going to be January on Sunday. I don't know what date that is. On Sunday. Forgive my use of colors. On Sunday, we're going to go over the 4 levels of value, how to break being broke. Imagine breaking being broke. That would be nice. So that's what we'll be doing on Sunday. And I'm saying this because I learned something few months ago, actually, about the 4 levels of value. I learned this last year. And when I interact with people, almost 90% don't know what it is. And this is what I mean by what you don't know costs you too much. Because the 4 levels of value is a framework of how things operate in the world. So there are 4 levels of value. The highest one is imagination. After that, there's communication. And then unification. The last one is implementation. Depending on which level of value you operate, it actually dictates how much money you make or how much impact you make as well. So people in the implementation level can only make so much. So let's put it this way. You may have a first 1, 2, 3, 4. You may have a 4th level dream, right? Let's say you want to go to the moon. That's almost like a 4th level dream. But you cannot achieve this if you're working at 1st level of implementation. So this is why it's important to understand, what are these levels? What am I comfortable with? Where am I committed to? But we'll go deeper into it on Sunday, look at the 4 levels of value and see where we want to be depending on our dreams. And then of course, the last day of our sessions like this, group sessions, will be where I'll be sharing with you all the blueprint, the Genesis blueprint that I use in my projects and my businesses as well. And it's been quite interesting. Like whenever I coach my clients using this model, they're like, wow, there's always that wow effect every single time. And I'm also wowed as a result because the people are wowed. But thank you so much for joining tonight. I hope you guys learned a lot, and we're going to see you in the Zoom, not in Zoom, in the WhatsApp group, and continue our conversation there and get to know each other more. So thank you so much, and we'll see you later.
Peace.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
Have an amazing night.
Thank
Please
you.
bring the 10 people so you can get your
Thank you,
book for
James.
free.
God bless you.
You're welcome.
Good night.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, James.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.